broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, welcome to another episode of the recap for WGN's Underground. You hear that theme
What's your song, Megan? Kills me. You don't even know the words.
You know what? I hate on you. I tried, okay? I tried.
Killing me.
I'm one of your hosts, Megan Thomas at McSoup on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat, wherever. Just go on there. You'll find me. And who are you lovely ladies?
I'm Lina Green. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook at Just Lina Green.
I'm Jamie Banks, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JamieBanks_.
Yes, and Gary's not here today, but he sends us love. He misses you guys. Make sure you use the hashtag Underground WGN, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So we want to see your comments. Make sure you use that Underground WGN. There you go. Yeah, so let's talk about episode 3 of Underground. It's called The Lord's Day because they're talking about the Sabbath day.
Sunday.
Slaves typically got that day off. They worked 6 days a week. And oh, how kind of the slave masters to give slaves a day off. I'm sure they were thinking in their head, like, I let you have one day to yourself.
They work.
Right.
Like it's a job.
Right.
That they go to every day.
You know what I'm saying? This is just so ridiculous to me. But they get Sunday off. And we see that a lot of plans are being made. I like how the episode opens up and you see the two differences with the sermons that are being given. It's the same exact sermon. And you're like, something about this doesn't feel right. Like, It's the same sermon, but to two totally different, socioeconomic
I love
classes.
how they show the different lifestyles of the slaves and the slave masters, and they parallel between the two.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all white people in church and just the slaves in the background.
Right.
Are standing there.
Also listening to the sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you have Moses preaching a sermon to the slaves as well. While
He
they're
animated too. He's like, and Jesus came out. You're in church in the South. He came out of the ground.
So animated. That's black church. That's how black church is. So animated. And so, we also see that the slaves are making plans about how they're actually going to run. So we see that Noah talks about the best time for us to run is going to be on a Saturday night because that's the last time they do slave count. They don't do it again until Monday morning. So that gives them a nice day and a half, head start if they're going to run. It's a very smart plan, actually. And so they're making preparations. They're going to do it in 6 days. But I was like, oh, so soon.
It's
like, I'm thinking that I'm going to run. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not ready.
I'm like, I'm not ready for that right now.
I'm not ready for it yet. Okay.
I thought it would come in a few episodes. I didn't think it would be the next episode, or actually this one.
Right, for sure. And so they're going through the things that they need. So first of all, Noah talks to Sam about the harnesses, about how do we get past this bridge. And Sam has a lot of knowledge about it because he helped build it.
Yeah.
So that's so he understands, okay, we're going to have to get some harnesses and hooks, and we're going to go underneath because there's slave catchers on top. Smart.
That's quite a remarkable plan that what they have came up with to get under that bridge is like, dang. Right. They really thinking this through, like, this is going to go down.
Right.
So, I mean, that's...
Yeah, if they can pull it off, it'll be pretty amazing.
That would be quite a feat. And it would take them some time to get those hooks under. They're doing 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So they're going to take the whole 6 days to do 2 at a time, which is 12 hooks, right?
Yeah.
To get everyone through. That's how many people? That's like 10 people?
Right.
And it has to hold them. So these harnesses have to be very strong because...
Not only do they need strength, but they also need balance.
And we saw that with Noah trying to balance himself.
Exactly.
When Sam's over there, trying to fix the wheel.
Tom Hawks comes in talking about, in another life, I wish I could use my hands.
I know he goes, I'm jealous of you.
Yeah. Right. Like,
here's Sam. Yep, Bob.
I need you to say that again and listen to what you just said, please, because that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it was kind of like for some reason that that scene reminded me of like a father-son bonding. I know that's not, we're not even speculating that that's his dad, but it seemed like he was trying to bond with him.
Yeah, he actually seemed sort of nice in that moment. Not that he's a nice person at all, because he clearly isn't, but he was a nicer character in that moment.
You know, and I think it's because here it is, like, this guy he owns this plantation. He's all about his political life. You know, he wants to be this big politician, and here he is like, oh, well, Ernestine is his, side piece, whatever.
Mistress, she prefers.
Oh, is that what she said?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's mistress. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I have to say side piece because mistress denotes that there's two willing parties, and essentially what happened with her is like rape. She has to just be okay with it.
I mean, but she's kind of willing because it makes her life and her children's lives a little bit better.
But is it willing? I mean, I guess she can't really say no. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's really willing. It's just, okay, I can either say yes and try to make it go for my advantage, or I can say yes and be angry at him. Yeah. So either way, I mean, she's still getting raped. She can't say no. That's not an option.
Yeah, I think she's
either
still
way,
mistress.
I don't really. So we'll call her mistress because I don't really know what the name would
Dime
be.
piece.
I don't know. So either way, I think that because of the relationship he has with, Sam's mom, he's kind of like, oh, this is our son. We can be cool. But not
really. So weird. Like he's trying to be like, hey.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering why he was being so sweet.
Yeah.
He's like, I can be nice to him. He's a little different. I know his mom, In
any normal setting, that would be appropriate. Plus, he wanted him to do a favor for him, which Ernestine asked for him to take his brother in and be his apprentice. So,
which is like,
it's nice of him asking him though.
No, why would you ask? Like,
that's what I'm saying. He didn't have to ask, but he did.
It's like, okay, I just want you to know I'm a cool master.
I'm a cool dad.
I'm just getting more and more like uncomfortable as I watch this. But then we also see that Noah, I had to hold my breath when that gun slipped. I was like, it's gonna hit him in the head and then it's over.
I was thinking he's gonna have to kill him to get out of there.
Right.
You'll have to shoot him in the head.
It'd be very hard to explain why he was up there.
That would
with a gun.
Yeah.
Like that you're not supposed to have. Where'd you get this gun?
Yeah.
All those things. But we see that the harness holds, so good for them. In addition to that, we also see that, Sam vomits. When he vomits, I'm like, I kind of was like, okay, so Sam's the weak one here. Because you remember, the very first week, I was like, oh, Sam's going to rat them out. Like, Sam's going to be the weak link. And then he's proved himself to be very useful. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't know. I kind of still feel like Sam might be a little...
I feel like Sam's not going to rat them out, but I feel like he's going to be one of the ones to not make it, unfortunately.
He just seems like he's, really anxious and lonely and scared.
That fear is going to get the best of him.
Right. And he said, of course, he tells his sister, she's, not cut out for running. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe you're not cut out for running.
I know. Would you want your family to go with you?
No, I mean, I think if you knew what could potentially happen, because he says, if they catch, we're probably going to die. If they catch you, that's worse. That's torture, rape. That is kind of a rough life.
I would only want my family to try and escape if I knew that they could actually make it. Otherwise, I would say...
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Jamie said sorry.
I don't know. No, I think they would want me to escape,
No, but what would you do? I couldn't imagine leaving my family behind, but knowing what we would have to go through, and some probably won't make it, what would you do? Would you...
I don't know. I mean, I think essentially it's like, okay, well, we're going to die. You want to die a slave or you going to die
I'm dying free.
Either way, you might get raped in the process, but you might get raped as a slave. So either way, it's kind of like it's which one's the lesser of two evils here? We might as well just run. Come on, guys. Let's see how far we make it.
You get a chance.
I think I would try and run.
Yeah.
Right? Why not? I mean, you got nothing else to lose at this point. All right. So then we also see that at the same time, Serafina is being sold off by the lady of the house because she feels like Serafina's a baby killer. First of all, I wanted to know, how does she know that Serafina killed her baby? Who lied? Who told her?
I mean, you saw how they turned on each other about the house slaves and the field slaves. So you see how that world works now. People are willing to rat each other out to save their own skin. So someone probably told.
And they could have just said she had a miscarriage. She had the baby and the baby was. Why didn't they just say that? Like, why would you have to say, "Oh, she killed her baby"?
They probably thought by telling her that information, they would get a better position in the house, kind of like Keto thinks.
Mm-hmm. I wish they would go into the story how Keto got his position.
Oh, they're gonna tell it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
We see it a little bit more this episode when he says something about he hit a white man. Because remember we were talking about how did his face get messed up like that, and he was like, it's not worth it. So I think that's probably part of how he got there.
His story.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out how he got to be the slave wrangler that he is.
But it's funny when they come in on Keto. He's over here, all the stuff that the other slaves are going through, and Keto's over here ironing his clothes, making sure he's looking fresh to death. And I'm like, there's such a division because he's just hanging around eating stuff all the time. It's like
I didn't like her anyway.
He lives a completely different life.
Right.
It's like.
He's like him and we didn't see him this episode, but August wasn't in this episode. And to me, they're like the same character. Like, as far as I don't know whether to love them or hate them. You know what I'm saying? Because they both have like
redeeming qualities, but yeah.
So it's like you want to like them, but then you can't. So you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm so torn.
When Keto was smiling, when the rest of the slaves were being punished, that was terrible. I was like, why? He had like a smirk on his face.
I felt like he was like, man, I want to see how strong this group is. You know, if we could actually make it. And he was I think there was kind of pride on his face too. Right. You know, kind of like he can't show it. But he's like, okay, yeah.
He's all about the power. I mean, you see this, it seems like every single episode. And, of course, when Big Zeke hears that his wife is getting sold, of course he's going to go crazy.
I saw that coming. Man. I thought they were going to shoot him, though.
And they said he wasn't talking to her after she killed the baby. I get that. And he was like, wait, she being sold? Uh-oh. And he came like Hulk. Incredible Hulk.
And he like totally destroyed that wagon. I didn't think him hitting it like that.
I don't know what he was planning to do. Maybe like kiss her and say bye.
I think he was trying to save her from being sold. I don't know what he was saying. He didn't think it through. He was just upset. But
and of course he gets put in the hole for that. So you get stripped down, put in a hole. It's like hot. I mean, you've seen it. There's other movies that have it.
12 Years Slave,
Django, like all that's in there. You see that's one of the punishments. And Noah is kind enough to say, hey, Keto, you got to go get him out because we need him. He's strong. He's loyal. You've seen this. So go get him. And Keto turns it around and says, oh, Noah was going to leave you in the box, but I'm here to come get you out. I'm like, that is so messed up.
But Keto's smart in a way. Like, I see what he's doing. Noah is about himself, okay? He's about getting freedom, and he's about using whoever he can to get to freedom.
But is that using people, or is that saying you get your freedom too?
I'm totally not saying he's, but Kato's like, I want to make it out. If I get Zeke on my side, protecting my back, then hey, there's a better chance for me, and I can respect that. I can respect it.
That's true. If they're out in the woods or something and slave hunters are coming, maybe he'll want him on his side to sacrifice for him.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
And loyalty, I mean, that was the key. When he heard loyalty, it's like, that's a big recurring theme of loyalty.
Right.
Something hard to come by. He's like, Zeke would be loyal to you if you, help him out. So.
And if you like loyalty as well, you can be a loyal subscriber to one of our sister shows.
That's right. If you love hearing stories about behind the scenes in Hollywood, then you'll love The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro, who's one of our creators, and Maria Menounos.
Why are you reading it like
I don't know. Okay, can I get through this? Also join our fellow co-hosts Roxy Stryer and Ashley Daniels for some insanity on Monday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 Pacific time. So yeah, check it out, thetomorrowshow.com. Subscribe, download, free on iTunes. Just go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for laughing at me. Thank you.
Great.
I have to put on if you love.
Right. All right, so as we see that they're going through putting their plan together in motion, things are getting closer. We also see there's one piece of the plan that's missing, and that is the seal that needs to go on the freedom papers that Pearlie Mae has so kindly forged up. And so the seal is the master in the master's office. We see that.
Yeah, Rosalie sees it.
Rosalie sees it. She does her, sleuthing. She gets it. I was just like, this little girl has. She was like walking through the house like. Like she ain't never snuck. She's so.
She was doing it so yeah. I was surprised.
I was like, if somebody walks up on you, can you walk normal at least? Just walk normal, okay, on the inside.
She was creeping low and stuff. I'm like, girl, you do not do that.
If somebody walked up behind you, they automatically would know that you're up to no good. And
you gotta act like she is really green at this whole stealing and stuff.
Right.
But she goes in there and she's waiting for the lady of the house to be playing piano.
Right.
And that part was so scary to me because I'm like, as soon as it stops, every time you're listening to see if she stops.
Music stops.
Yeah. And so she's waiting back and forth. And that part gave my heart racing. I was like, somebody gonna get her. Somebody gonna get her.
But she gets the seal and she gets the wax and she goes out and she meets Pearly May and she starts stamping the papers. But she didn't get finished with it, right? Did we?
I don't know because
we don't see that.
I think they insinuate that they did. Because I don't think she has to get it again, but I think they did finish it.
Okay, yeah. I guess they would have to, though. That's true. Like, half of y'all are free, half y'all ain't free. Y'all ain't free.
We're going to play a little game.
We only got, who got the freedom papers?
Whoever lives.
We only got 3, y'all. Okay, so yeah. And then in the middle of that, we hear that the music stops. Rosalie's supposed to be in the house, so she runs back in. The question I have is, what happened to, how did the, master know that he needed his seal and his wax? I
guess he stamps things all day. Like anything you send out, you have to stamp.
Okay.
So maybe he was just going in his office, look to stamp something, and it was gone.
Right. And so of course, the women of the house, the slaves in the house are making molasses candy. I guess it's like their tradition. In the summer, Ernestine's known for it. So they're busy making this candy, and then of course the lady of the house, she says that round everybody up, somebody stole master seal. So then back to what you were talking about, Lena, when you were saying that now we see what the division is between the house. So it's kind of like, okay, now somebody gonna get in trouble. Is it gonna be us or is it gonna be them?
It's kind of sad of the mentality. There's division within even ranks in the slave household. You see the house slaves, they always think that they're better than the field ones, and you see
they're
that
like gossiping, laughing.
They're gossiping, laughing and stuff, and they are ready to rat someone out just to save their own skins.
But I feel like Pearly May said that just to take the attention away from them. I think she knew that it was Rosalie, and she was just trying to.
Wait. Well, you said Pearly May.
Wasn't Pearly May the one who said?
No,
it was just another random woman.
It was.
Yeah. Pearly May's not in the house. She's not housewife.
No. It was
then
Yeah. No, and I think I do think she wanted to take the attention. I don't think they knew. I don't think anybody knows or suspects Rosalie's going to run, and she would do that because up to now, Rosalie's been very
complacent. Yeah.
She doesn't even do the gossip with the girl. She's just very by the book. So I don't think they even suspect it was her. But it was kind of like, look, somebody's going to get in trouble. It's not going to be us. So I'll just tell you this. I saw a field slave running around here and wasn't supposed to be here.
And maybe she did see her. I mean, she was around the house.
She clearly did see it. And if you notice, she said, I don't remember. No, you know everybody's name.
Yeah, she knew.
She knew it was Pearly May.
A diversion,
but it's kind of like, I don't want to rat you out, but I don't want to get in trouble for it either. So I'm not going to rat you out for real. But I'm not gonna say we did it either.
Yeah, and it's funny how Ernestine knew immediately, just looking at her daughter and I, like, you have it.
No. I thought when she reached into
it wasn't in there.
No. I thought it was the wax that she because Rosalie didn't put the wax in the molasses stuff. She only put the seal in there.
I think Rosalie took everything, but her mom, Rosalie, was acting funny, and she was like.
Yeah, at first I thought that she physically felt it.
But she didn't. You could tell when she put her hand in there, it was flat.
But that's what I'm saying. I thought maybe it was that piece of wax, because where did the wax go?
I think she just dumped it. I don't think it was like an important part, so she just dumped it. But I think her mom felt her pockets because she ended up emptying them. And she was just like, she looked at her and Rosalie was like,
let us know, guys.
You know what your mom.
Let us know. Is that what happened? And I'm just slow.
I think. Well, your mom knows when you're lying. You can say, I didn't do that.
Right.
And so she was just like,
She knew.
She knew. Ernestine was a smart woman, though. She's a smart woman.
She got that slap, though. She got that. I was like, oh, there's enough.
She took that, too. She was like...
I was like, oh, man, you have never... No matter your circumstances, you'll still get beat by your mom.
No matter what.
Like, even when you're a slave, your mom will still beat you, as we can see. No, but I'm saying, like, no, but that's real, though. No matter what your situation, your mom will still beat you. If you're wrong, your mom will beat you. Get that in your head, kids. All right. And so, the master decides, Tom Hawks decides he's going to punish the field slaves, gets his chair put out there, and has them hold up these railroad beams on their day off, by the way. It's
the day off. Yeah.
It's just so disgusting to me how, like...
And you can't imagine how heavy those beams are. Probably like... I want to say like
they hold
60,
railroad like
80 pounds.
Like trains go across these things and don't break them.
And it was super sad that it started in the day and then flash forward a few hours later, they're still out there at night.
That's crazy.
And they still got to wake up early in the morning and go back to tend the fields.
Yeah.
That's just, is this cruel? I just don't understand how cruel and evil, like how is this okay? I mean, every time I watch that, I always ask that question, like, how has anyone ever been okay with this kind of a life?
And it's weird that the plantation owner was the same guy who earlier was talking to Sam so casually, like he's his dad. It's just very strange to me.
His dad.
Oh, well, the fatherly
like
moment.
Shout out to one of our, I forgot completely about this, one of our YouTube comments. She said that she looked online at the website and found out that Sam is Rosalie's half brother, which means they don't have the same father, which means
I figured that.
Right. And then if you hear what Sam says in the episode, he does say like, oh, mom left me to go to the big house, which means she used to be out in the field as well. So when she left, I'm assuming that his father is somebody.
Well, yeah. Sam's older than Rosalie, so
yeah.
It
so
was
Sam's father's probably a slave, and
yeah.
then Rosalie and James are probably the
We're still
kid.
Speculating that it's the master's kid. It could be someone completely. I'm thinking it's. Nah, it can't be him. Nah, okay, we'll talk about that. No, we'll save it for predictions.
Oh, okay. Save it for predictions. Don't forget it.
I won't, but I'm just thinking. I'm thinking out loud.
Right. Yeah. So then, of course, the master says, if anybody, by the time the last beam drops, if I don't have my seal, everyone gets 50 lashes. And we see such a really strong moment here because the last group holding that beam up,
it had to be Noah.
The Making 7. And then you see the solidarity and the drive when they fall and that beam still stays up because they gotta make sure. And he says, fight for it. And I just love it's so crazy what Tom Hawks says. He was like, well, I like his fire, but it's not gonna be there long.
The little boy came to help. Was that
Henry?
Henry came to help them hold up the beam. Where did he come from?
He probably was on like another beam.
Oh,
and they all had fell down. So
Yeah, when he said fight for it, that was so inspiring to me.
I love that part.
Right.
That was beautiful.
I was looking at that, I was like, if that was me, I'd probably be like, okay, we the first group going down, guys. I'm not gonna make
She can't be with, she ain't a runner.
I'm not. I'll be like, guys, first beam going down is us, okay? Just so you know, because we wasn't gonna make it far anyway. So I'd rather just preserve my arms.
We love your fight. Megan has so much fight in her.
It's honesty, like, so we can help other beams. Our beam's gonna go down first.
Would you stop?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't have made it.
What's crazy about at this same time the governor's ball is going on.
Right. Wait. Before we go to the governor's ball, I want to talk about the conversation that Rosalie, of course. So then the power that Ernestine has, her silent power, because she was able to bribe the master's son and say, here, I'll give you this candy that you've been wanting all day if you say that you stole your dad's seal. That's power, because at any moment that little boy could be like, no, she took it, and then she'd really be in trouble. But the fact that she was,
but you have to remember,
so easy. And if you see that scene when he gets up, he gets it like this, and he like walks out like, I got my candy.
You have to remember, he was actually raised by Ernestine.
Right.
She's like a mother to him. You see him.
She plays with him. Yeah.
He has love and affection for her, and that happened a lot in those days because the slaves were the ones who were actually raising the children.
Right.
I actually saw an excerpt on that and how the strong relationship slaves have with the children who they were taking care of.
And then those children eventually own them, so it was like so weird.
Yeah, and sometimes the children end up growing up to help them,
right?
To actually be for the cause. So it was such a powerful message of how close this boy was that he's like, yeah, okay, for some molasses, for some candy,
right?
Like, yeah, oh yeah, this. I just found it in Dad's office. Like,
right.
It was such a amazing moment.
And how can you you're not gonna whoop your child, but like you would beat someone for something like so trivial, but you're like, he did something really bad. You almost got these people, like all of these people, 50 lashes.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought she was gonna try to lie and be like, tell my husband one of y'all stole it or something, but she was like, oh, just tell him we found it.
Also, the little boy TR is friends with the other little boy James, so I feel like maybe TR doesn't care so much about like black and white, and he doesn't understand that yet.
Yeah.
Right. He's not,
You wonder when does that kick in? Like,
no, I think he kind of understands it, but he's kind of like, well,
I don't care.
really, like he doesn't really get it. He knows there's a difference for sure. Like there's clearly they treat them different than they treat me. I'm sure he gets that, but it's like, but he's just my friend. I just want to play with my friend.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. I don't think
there's
he really sees past
it doesn't
that.
have any weight on it.
Right, exactly. So, Sam has a conversation with Rosalie, and I think it's a good conversation because obviously they don't get to hang out as much.
Yeah, you don't see that. This is the first time we've actually seen them have a good conversation with each other. Yeah,
and I like it because one of the things that we see is that Rosalie says, "Oh, being in the big house is actually worse because you're a shadow to somebody and you don't have a space of your own. There is no.
They're always standing there like as furniture." Basically, fixtures in every room. So you see in the field, they get to do stuff. They're fishing. They're out there, kind of more free than the people in the house. And I don't think they think about it that way.
Right. And you're like, I don't know what's, most people would say, oh, being in the house is much better. But then you're like, wait, when she put it like that, I was like, oh, well, is it much better? You really they don't have a day off. They got to go to church with the master.
You saw that, yeah.
They don't get a day off at all. They were working and they were making that molasses candy. Like they don't get a day off. So I was like, man, I don't know if that's worse or better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you always think that being in the house is better. People always say, I'd rather be a house slave. I mean,
those conversations,
conversations black people have had. Yeah, Jamie, sometimes we've talked about that. As black people, we've talked about, are you house slaves?
I knew you was going to bring that up.
These are conversations we've actually had. Most black people have had these conversations.
You're in the field.
Right. See, I did want to say this. So every time I see the cotton out there that they're picking, like, I remember when I was in Alabama, there's cotton fields everywhere. And I remember pulling off to the side of the road and I looked around and I stole some cotton. I was like, this is my ancestors! And I got in my car and realized, no, seriously. So I always think about that. I still have that piece of cotton, though. I still have the piece of cotton.
Oh my gosh.
I stole it from a former plantation, I'm sure.
You've helped the ancestors. You've won up for us.
I just felt good about it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm picking this. They had to pick it because they were slaves and that's not what they want to do. But I'm picking it and I'm stealing. I'm taking it away from. I know. Clearly, the people that own it are like, we're farmers. Like we're not slave
We didn't
owners.
do that. Can you please get off our property? Thank you.
Now I'm gonna go to jail for stealing. Like, dang, I was trying to do good. Okay, anyway. All right. So then, we also need Rosalie's going back to, she's leaving the slave quarters. She's going back to her place, and then she comes across Bill. And there's a moment there where I'm almost like, oh, Bill's human. Because he is,
It was a really good, where it was going was so...
Right. I was like, man, I thought this was going to be a bad moment. Now Bill's over here talking about his wife. He misses her clearly. He's just broken up about that.
And then I think he just snapped into anger and...
Yeah, he got rejected.
I mean, Rosalie offered to get him some flowers. And it was like a touching moment. I was like, that was real. And then it just went.
Because I was like, why can't he just go? And I realized it's because the church is where she has to go every Sunday with the master. And he has to stay watching the slaves on Sunday when they're in their quarters. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't get the chance to leave and go. He doesn't get a day off either. He's got to, he's got to go to the church to put the flowers there. Because I was wondering, I was like, why can't he just go? And then I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's interesting him saying to her that she thinks she's better than him.
Right.
For him to say, like, this is a little slave girl who's known no freedom her whole life.
Right.
And he turns to her and says, you think you're better than me. And she doesn't even say, she's like, no, I mean, I can't go nowhere. What are you talking about?
The delusion.
But that's a recurring thing with Rosalie. It's
Right.
a recurring thing, like her having this kind of higher position and being somewhat better.
Right.
So.
And meanwhile, at the same time that all of this is happening, we see that Henry and Noah they figure out that the drinking gourd and the stuff that they're talking about in the song is actually like, oh, it's this Big Dipper, it's the spoon. Oh, I get it now. So they're starting to put the pieces together, which is essential.
Yeah,
for them
to. I don't know how they were going to leave without knowing.
Right, like, well, we just gonna keep singing the song.
We're just gonna keep going somewhere.
I don't know.
There's still a lot in the song they haven't figured out too.
Right. And so Bill, of course, when he snaps, he tries to rape Rosalie. She ends up killing him.
How did she do that though? I'm like, well, he was drunk. He was really drunk.
He was drunk. He might have fallen over. Yeah, I don't know. And she comes out. She's like, we gotta go because she runs into Noah. She's like, we gotta go because I killed. He's dead.
I felt like that was such a fast thought. I thought that they would just run away from that scene, but I didn't think they would run off the plantation.
Where are they
That's
gonna
what
go,
I was
Jamie?
thinking. Like,
well, how would they know it's her?
I was like, they don't have the forensic stuff that we have now. There's no.
But they're gonna know, like, okay, so
well,
one
she's
of
bruised,
you guys killed him. Obviously, like, how is he just dead? Somebody killed him.
And she's bruised up, so they'll be like, why are you bruised up?
And if it wasn't her, he probably would have did the same thing. 50 lashes for everybody until someone tells me.
I mean, this is a death. It wouldn't just been 50 lashes.
No, he probably 50 lashes for everybody until you tell me who did this, because clearly somebody did something here. And they, after the slaves had a day of holding up a beam, they probably were like, it was a girl. We don't know what girl.
It was very disconcerting to see the slave girl who walks by and hears the commotion. She just,
what could she do?
I don't know, but there has to be the humanity in you, the something in you that tells you that something's not right. I need to do something. For me, there's a knee-jerk reaction.
But you say that because you haven't been in a situation where you see women get raped all the time. If this has become your reality where all day, every day, there's a woman getting raped.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because it's like, if I say something, I'm next. Not today. So I'm just not going to say anything. And yeah, that might be cruel. But at the same time, like, what do you do? This is your reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I said the same thing. Like, I thought that she could have at least
go tell somebody, hey,
the slave
just
guys.
something.
But then what would they do?
At least stop. I mean, there's something in you that you call it humanity. I do with the quotation marks that just says, I got to do something, I got to do something. And I don't know, that was for her to just walk off like, and she was just like, like it was none of my business. I'm gonna let whatever happens over there happen. I'm gonna go on with my life. That's so, for your mentality to be broken down that much, you have to think about the enslavement of the mind. Mm-hmm. For you to be broken down that much, where your humanity switch is turned off to that much to your own people, that is very disconcerting. Just show that.
But that's what slavery was. It was control of people's minds. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much about the physical chains, but the mental chains that enslaved you more than the physical chains. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to judge a lady. You over here judging her.
I'm not judging her, but it's just something about that moment. And just her, it was like she was humming and she just walked off and she was like, like, it was just like, it killed me. I hear somebody screaming. I'm busting. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like,
I know, it makes it so sad because I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have done that, but then I probably would have. I mean, like, to be honest, like, if you saw that every day, you probably got raped every day yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get raped today, so I'm just going to turn.
It has to be a mind.
That's just just so like, oh my gosh, so harsh. So of course, Rosalie and Noah start running. They get underneath the wagon that what's his name? Tom Hawks has gotten fixed because Zeke broke it. They get underneath it, and they are now off of the plantation.
Did they just get underneath that? Is that the same wagon that they've been using to take cargo out? slaves out?
I'm not sure.
Or
Well,
was-
it's either way. I mean, Sam fixed it, so I'm sure they knew, like, how to. I'm sure they knew some kind of way.
Yeah.
To, Sam, of course, probably had something rigged.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to see, because it was like because it was the same one, like when they were showing how they get people in and out.
Oh,
of
maybe it will
plantations.
show up.
Did you see? It's the same kind of setup, how they bring people in between those wood planks.
Right.
And that's how they got in there. So I was like, were they helping them get out?
No, I don't think they were helping
No?
because if you remember, those are slave traders that
Okay,
came
so they
to
didn't know.
take Serafina. So they're not helping slaves at all.
Okay.
So I think they just hid because there was no cargo to take in that. But they knew that. They're like, okay, this is supposed to be an empty wagon. We'll just get in it. We'll hide ourselves in it because they're not expecting anything to be in there. They're not going to put anything in here, and then we'll just get out when we need to.
Interesting. That's interesting to see.
I know. I'm like, and I like at the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh, 6 days. I'm not ready to leave the plantation yet.
They
And
put
now
through a
they're like-
loopy dope on us.
I know. I was like, oh no, I'm really not ready.
The way they ran, they do some powerful imaging.
Yeah.
Them running was like, you felt like you was running with them. I was like, whew.
Yeah, shout out to the director, Anthony Hemingway. He did he's directed, I think, the first 5 episodes or so. Awesome job so far. Like, really, really good. I'm
And
impressed.
beautiful cinematography as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about John and Elizabeth Hawks. They are now, we saw last episode, they were meeting with William Still.
Yeah.
Now they are definitely a part of the Underground Railroad, and we see that they have people coming over to fix the nursery. Like, wait, so soon? Like, we literally just had this conversation.
Yeah.
Look how quickly the information travels, because they were just getting off of the train from having this meeting,
And now
these
people are
are
already there.
like, hey, we're here to fix your nursery for your cargo. I was like, that's good. That's very efficient.
Yeah.
And
You
they
see how quickly everything turns around
Right.
in this kind of business.
Right. And so they say they're going to go to the governor's ball because there's probably some plans that they can steal and have an advantage over the increased amount of patrol and marshals in the area looking for slaves.
Yeah. Who's the guy who they meet on the train?
So that's, I believe his name's Kyle, and it looks like it's Elizabeth's
Ex-fiance.
No, I
Were
think
they-
like childhood friend or like maybe.
Did they allude to say they were engaged once?
It seemed
Is that
like
what it was?
there was some sort of history there, but I couldn't tell if it was romantic or not.
Right.
I thought. I mean, clearly the way he looks at her, it was romantic. Or
Right.
maybe on his end, it was romantic. But I think they alluded that they were once engaged or something. But maybe.
Let us know, guys. Use the hashtag Underground WGN. And it's like, I just love it how they're doing almost like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like we live a double life type of thing where she's like, okay, you go steal the papers, I'll cause a distraction. And she's like, we're going to do this little dance where I show my legs off.
Why is she the only one in a dress? Everybody else is covered. Her dress is like down here.
I was like, oh my
Boots
gosh.
finna come out. I was like, they couldn't wear stuff back in
Did
like
they
that.
wear
No,
stuff like that back
they
then?
couldn't wear stuff
Probably
back.
not to that kind of
No,
event.
not to the women. Had to be somewhat covered.
But I think I think it's cool because she's like, I already know these people don't like me. They think
Yeah,
I'm crazy
she's like an
anyway.
outsider.
So whatever.
Yeah,
I'm going to use it to my advantage. I like her a lot. I
Yeah,
like
she has a
Elizabeth
lot
Hawks.
of spunk. It was crazy from the first episode when it shows her to be like, you thought she was like crazy,
psycho, yeah.
psychotic, but she's just misunderstood, I guess.
Yeah, she's a little misunderstood, and she's dancing on the piano, and of course, like all the men are like, "Ooh." I love how she says to her husband, she's like, "Let's do what we did in Boston." So she's obviously done this before, and then she's like, he's like, well, "What if this is not that crowd?" She's like, "It's always that crowd." All right.
Also, what was the music? It was like
Yeah, it was a little
music.
weird. It was like Katy Perry-ish. I was like, I don't know if that should be playing now. That wasn't a good musical choice for me at the ball. I was like, I'm confused. I don't want to hear this at the
Yeah,
ball.
it's very I don't know what era of time that was
Right,
from. Not
right.
even this
Just didn't
time.
really match.
Right. And then they get home, and we see that already they've got cargo. And Elizabeth goes down to the shed to give the cargo some food. They're kind,
You can say slave. We're not in it.
I mean, I'm just saying,
We're not in it.
Cargo. That's what he was saying. And then there's a slave that's trying to kill John, and he said, "You sold my wife."
That's the last words he says.
The last word he says. And by the way, guess who it is? It's Jesse Smollett. It is Journey Smollett's brother. Journey, who plays Rosalie. It's her real life brother. If you've seen him, he's on Empire. If you've ever watched that. But I was like, whoa, he's just like, he has like a beard. His
Did they put
like
one of his eyes? Yeah. That was a surprise. They threw a lot of surprises in this episode. So it's
complete departure from what you know him as.
Yeah.
On Empire.
I mean, I thought it was going to end on them running. I was like, oh, and then here's another surprise.
Ah, surprise.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's do some predictions. No prediction music?
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
There we go. All right, Jamie, let's start with you.
I think the rest of the group that wanted to run away will all run away the next episode on a Sunday. Because they said that's kind of how they worked out the plan before.
Do you think it's too risky for them?
I think it's too risky because at this point they're going to know Monday morning comes, Noah's gone, the Bill is not, Bill, where you at? You're not wrangling these slaves, you're not counting them.
Yeah.
Noah's gone, Rosalie's gone. So they're going to be like, I think everything's on higher alert. So it's kind of like if they run tonight, we're going to have to run too, guys. Yeah. We're just going to have to go.
That they would wait till things calm down before trying to...
They can't do that.
At this point, you got to run now, too, because they're going to notice, and now they're going to be on higher alert. So you can't run away for, like, the next 2 years.
Do you think it's unfair what Rosalie and Noah did just to run? I mean, they had no choice, but this leaves everyone else in a bad position.
They could have grabbed the others when they ran.
I don't know. I mean, they kind of had no time.
I don't know. I don't think they had time. It was like, look, we just gotta. Sometimes you gotta make those split-second decisions, and people don't like it. They don't like it. Sorry. That's life or death. All right, Lena, what's your prediction?
My prediction. For some reason, I was thinking that Josie Smollett's character was Ernestine's husband, who she got sold. But then I was like, no, the age difference is a little off. So that's not true. I'm thinking they're gonna get caught and be brought back.
The Hawks? Wait, who's gonna be caught?
Noah and Rosalie are gonna get caught by what's his name?
August?
Yes.
Ooh.
But I think he's going to help them
versus
get out. I think he's gonna make a decision that's gonna change his life forever, and he's gonna help them.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I think Jesse Smollett is gonna end up, he's probably going to change the Elizabeth Hawke's mind, at least for helping slaves. Because she's like, yo, you're about to kill us, but then something's going to happen where they're, John will be even more committed to the cause. Something's going to happen. I don't know what. All right, let us know what you guys think. Put your comments down below. We want to know your predictions. How do you like Underground so far? We love it. They're so action-packed. So before we get out of here, ladies, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JamieBanks_, and I'll definitely tweet you back, and I love to hear what you think.
Oh, shout out to @BurnsView. He's sending us a lot of comments. That's a good prediction.
Hey, BurnsView.
What does that say? All right, you can find me at Just Lina Green on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Shout out, he said, I would have made it look like he was drunk and fell or burned down a house. See, that's some thinking, like, that's what I would have done because there's no way they could have proved it.
Whatever, Burnsview, they didn't have time like that, okay? All right. And you can find me, Megan Thomas, at Meg Scoop on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat, all over the place. At Meg Scoop, I want to hear from you, so make sure you follow. And make sure you tune in next week because we have more of this recap of WGN's Underground.
And also, Alana Miller will be joining us next week.
Yes!
Yeah, shout out
to Mr. Keto. Mr. Keto will be here! Yay!
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you guys next week right here on AfterBuzz TV. Peace out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Run away.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.